This is the Gray Hair and Daycare Podcast, with a combined age of 111 years and a combined IQ right in that same range. Your hosts, Frank Sirio and Carlo Russo. Welcome back. Here we are. This is episode 9. And 9. And most very importantly, it is Christmas Eve. Or at least this is released on Christmas Eve.
I can smell the fish and
the feast. Do you do the Feast of the Seven Fishes?
We do. I don't know if we do all 7. I think we substituted some stuff in there.
I don't know if we ever get to 7.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever got to 7.
And I don't know if we ever do the traditional. So the traditional ones are the cod.
Cod, yeah.
The cod with the tomatoes, which I always, if they don't soak it enough,
you got to soak the salt,
it's salty. It's like eating a shoe.
So the cod, which is
cod, or the bacala, they're called bacala. Yep. Calamari. My dad always liked to do smelt, fried
absolutely.
smelt. I still like doing that, and I have an Emerald Lagasse special, very very fancy tartar sauce with the smelt. Very good.
Nice.
Well, it's really good.
Fancy.
I will also do. I have a dish. It is a bacon-wrapped scallop with a brie cream sauce.
Bring it. I think that's an added on.
It's awesome.
To the 7s.
I do that.
But yeah,
it counts. I don't know if it's one of the 7, but it counts.
We got shrimp, right? Shrimp
cocktail. That's an easy one to throw in there.
I don't know about your family, but did you guys do octopus or octopus salad or
Now, I believe that's at times, but that stuff was really, my dad was the only one who liked it. So there wasn't, and we didn't do, like Christmas Eve, we didn't do that stuff. There was lots of food, but we didn't really do the fish. So that's something
we always did. Yeah. And if I could be wrong, this could be a segment, back
I was wrong.
In 10. I don't think we did it in Italy.
No. Maybe it is an American thing.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't in Italy long enough to remember.
Right. Check with mom.
I'm going to check with mom and dad and check with my sister, my sister-in-law's family.
Yeah.
I'm gonna because I remember asking once and they go, you know what, that we don't do that in Italy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but we do it here, so we still do it.
Yep.
We now have it catered though.
That's nice.
Not catered, but we have.
You order it.
We order out. Yeah. Yep. We order because it's too much.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And with the frying, it's also one of the things that to do all that stuff, you got to do it right then.
Yeah.
So somebody's cooking the whole time.
Somebody's cooking.
All night.
So right after I leave the studio, I'm going to be picking up the fish.
There you go. Go pick up the fish.
Go pick up the fish.
Look, you know what? Kelly will make a very nice. She has a recipe for sea bass, which we do sometimes.
Okay.
With this is really about.
It's really about food.
This isn't about a child, and it's just about food.
It's Christmas Eve.
She does a recipe for sea bass with an olive tapenade.
Wow.
It is delicious. It's fantastic.
Okay, well, I got to try that and her fruitcake thing.
Either way.
Maybe not.
So
yes.
So it is, hopefully everybody's having a very merry Christmas Eve and enjoying their holidays. But yeah, here we are. So as always, I am Frank Sirio. I'm 55 years old and my wife is 26 weeks pregnant. And it's going. Flying right by.
It's going, buddy.
So the update, for some reason, so I've looked at multiple websites for the weekly size, produce size.
Produce that Carlo's going to love.
Again, this week is a cauliflower, which we talked about last time. So the size of a head of cauliflower. Now she sleeps and wakes on a schedule. So she has a sleeping and waking schedule.
Nice.
In her little apartment there in my lovely wife. While her lungs are not fully developed.
Still, okay.
But at this point, she could breathe with help. So just from 1 week to the next, the development is happening so quickly.
7 days, look what happens.
That's it, 7 days. So week 26, head of cauliflower, sleeping and waking on a schedule, and lungs are developing and to the point where she could get by with a little help. So that is all. She's
cooking up just fine.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was because preparing for the holidays, and we're buying. Seems like all of a sudden there's more cookies around,
Sure,
and stuff like that. And I happen to, for those many people in my family know, but for those of you who don't know, when I was a kid, my dad was a distributor for Stella Doro cookies.
I just saw them in the kitchen walking in.
And they're up there, the S cookies.
Absolutely.
Can't
get away
with
that.
I was teasing Kelly saying, you're shaped like an S cookie now. She's got the cute little belly. But yeah, everything seems to be moving along
I'm
nicely.
telling you, I know you're probably growing up with it, probably sick of just looking at them. But the minute I walked in, I looked at that. I'm like, oh, I want one.
I haven't had them in such a long. Honestly, the ones I liked the most were the Swiss fudge.
Oh yeah,
they were so good. But that was the thing was when he did that, we would get the stales.
Damaged.
So when something would expire before it's sold at like Williams or so, he'd come home.
You got the Big Lots
or a
stuff.
broken package where we got
whatever
that.
is Big Lots now.
Exactly. They were like, here, you can have these.
Yeah.
And it was never the Swiss fudge. It was always like the marguerites.
Oh, remember those?
You know what's funny is my brother to this day.
Talking about food again.
We are talking about this, but he helped my father deliver the cookies.
Okay.
When he was a kid. And I was too little before he stopped doing that. But my brother to this day can tell you which cookie and how many were on the shelves of the truck.
Wow.
He literally, it's like, he remembers it. He will recite it occasionally when we get together. Right here was like, he still remembers it now, 50 or 60 or 60 years later.
So it's out. It's on the counter.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah,
there's cookies everywhere.
There's some cookies out, but the S cookie, I was teasing Kelly like, it looks like an S cookie. Yeah, so she's got the shape. She got the little cute little belly. But to now stop talking about food and start talking about the podcast and what we should be talking about. Our first segment, which I knew was going to be in everyone, and here it is once again. I was wrong. So I was wrong this week. From last episode, we discussed my deep fear of being involved in the birth of my child.
Yes.
And how I thought, well, if it was a cesarean.
Yeah, we weren't sure what the protocol was.
Apparently, I get to scrub in.
I think I might have said you might have scrub in.
I get to. I'm astonished that they would want a layperson in there at all. Like, can't you like? They have to put her out. Like, isn't she under?
I'm going to assume, again, we don't know.
I don't know what happened.
My wife had ours naturally, so I have no idea. I don't know if I don't think it's a local.
I don't know.
Like she's just talking to you.
The only thing I know for sure is
cut me.
The only thing I know for sure is in that case, there is in fact a curtain that I will be behind.
I believe that's very true.
But there you go.
So what are you hoping for? No,
I don't know.
You never want surgery.
No.
Because it's always surgery. Surgery is
whatever is
surgery.
best for the baby and easiest for Kelly is what I want. But yeah, that was immediately like, oh yeah, no, you'll be there. I'm like, fantastic.
Yeah, there's no 1950 father anymore. What you were talking about, having a cigar and having a martini or at the waiting room.
Right.
Those days are done. Unless you just want to start off the whole parenthood real bad.
Like disappointing.
I'm leaving the room now.
Disappointing everyone.
Yeah, just disappoint everyone.
Let me know when you're done.
Yeah. No, you'll be fine.
I'm sure.
So, but you were wrong.
I was wrong.
It's good that you can see that.
I think there might be, based on what happened last episode, we might have a new one that's called Kelly is Never Wrong because of the way she handled the controversy that has already been resolved of whether or not Carlo truly guessed the Lululemon backpack without going to 4 questions.
If I ever get in any legal trouble, I'm calling her.
That's it. You should.
I'm not calling a lawyer. I'm calling Kelly.
It was fantastic.
She'll
the way
I
couldn't believe it. I'm like, just write him a little note.
A little note.
I don't recall, Senator.
I will never write him.
She will never admit it.
No, it's fine. We were both right, Kelly.
Yes, sure.
I know she's listening to this on the chair with Watson on her right now.
She's watching it right now. So I was wrong.
So you're doctoring it up. You're doing you're cleaning the hands. You're putting on the scrubs. You're doing it all.
I didn't even like to wear a mask during COVID. And they're like, I don't want to do that. But we'll see.
It's got to be. Honestly, it's probably a lot easier to do that because there's that, like you said, the blanket that's covering half the body.
Yep.
You're just talking to her up there, or maybe not. I don't know if she's awake or not. I don't know what you're doing. You could be just
apologizing.
I'm sorry.
So
I did this to you.
Like, I don't know.
Then the natural. Because natural, you're gonna be everybody's up and running.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. We'll see. But I was
again.
wrong.
We'll have the video going for the podcast in the room.
You know what I thought? I thought about. I talked to Kelly about this. What I might do for that is, and you tell me what you think of this.
Sure, I will.
What I told her was, I'll have her find the most horrific video she could possibly find. She'll do the research, find the video.
Okay.
And then, have you ever seen like these videos of like Ben reacts to whatever?
Sure.
So we'll set up. The two of us will sit in the home theater with a camera on us, and the video will play. So we won't show
there won't be copywriting. There won't
the
be
video.
Right.
Yeah, but and that's the first thing Kelly said. It was like, well, as long as we're not going to infringe on copyright. I'm like, what?
She is a lawyer.
Yeah. I'm like, why does this is what you think about? But you're not thinking about your husband crying on camera, like, oh my god. But so we could do that. We could do a Frank Faints live.
So the video is going to be of
we'll have her find a video of a birth
of a lady,
and then we will play it in the home theater.
Oh,
but the camera,
oh, let's do that tonight. I got the popcorn. I want to see what happens to you.
We might.
I want to see if you run it.
We'll run it. Well, at the very least, I'll be seated. Right. But yeah, I thought we could do it. That would be fun.
I'm in.
If I'd have to find
the wife's coming over on this
way, I want to tie it into my Fitbit so you can watch my heart rate spike. It'll be fun.
The wife's coming over for a podcast. Maybe we can.
That'll be the movie we watch. Movie night. Frank Faints.
We usually have movie night. This will be a different movie night.
Different kind of movie night.
Well, I'm in.
Okay.
If you guys can figure that out, I'm in.
Okay, so that we might do that in the future.
Oh, Kelly, she's getting into it now. This is great. I love it.
Yeah, she's involved. At the executive producer level, I got to give her the credit.
She's going to be.
I'm
going
to have to have titles at the bottom. Yep.
Our lawyer, legal, our entertainment lawyer,
All right, I'm in. Copyright lawyer. So the next segment that we're going to roll into now, again a perennial favorite, the Silver Fox mailbox.
I love this part.
So the Silver Fox mailbox. Really, what we have to go over this time is this episode comes out on Christmas Eve. Tomorrow, we will be putting out the results of the voting.
There's going to be an announcement tomorrow.
An announcement of our Name the Baby initiative. So again, as a refresher, you could still vote until we're going to say midnight on Christmas Eve.
Okay,
that's the deadline. I'm going to close the Google form. So it's out there. It's on the Google form. We have the possibilities are Carmela Rose, Gabriella Marie, Lucia, Sophia, Michaeline, Fruit Loop, Jasmine Bubbles, Mariella, Madeline, Francesca Kelly, Josephine, Charlotte, Nicole, and Kiara. And I will say, so far, the leader in the voting, and it's close, but the leader is Josephine.
Wow.
Currently.
Okay.
Madeline is a close second.
Okay. There's time, people.
But there's time. You can get it. If you get those votes in there, just get them in, and I will we're going to have a special announcement tomorrow, but that's where we are. So far, it could be baby Josie.
I have no problem with that at all.
Although you desperately want it to be Madeline.
Well, yeah, for the sake of my home and health,
happiness,
and happiness,
your marriage.
But no, Josephine is also a family name for me, so I'll be happy with a fake baby Josie.
Fake baby Josie. That could be it. It'll be better than Jasmine Bubbles.
Jasmine Bubbles or Carlina Louise.
Oh, that's right, Carlina Louise.
Yeah, that was another one from our dear friend Dave.
From Dave. Yeah, that's right. So that's our Silver Fox mailbox update. And now we're going to move into, this is the first time, a lot of work has gone into this one. This is our first installment of the Dadabase. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Dadabase, where I'm going to try to learn from friends, dads that I don't know, people with different perspectives on parenting and different experiences. And I'm joined today by somebody whose work I've respected for many, many years, Mr. Paul Giamatti, ladies and gentlemen.
Pleasure to be here. I've got a break between movies, and I thought, what better place?
Working at that, what's that studio in Liverpool called? American High.
I'm doing their latest film. I'm the grumpy principal.
He could play that. So, in fact, this is not Paul Giamatti, but he bears a striking resemblance to him. This is John Taylor, a gentleman that I've known for now
over 25 years.
97 to 2002 was when I worked for Circuit. So we met somewhere right around
probably 98 or
99. So the better part of 25 years that we've known each other. And we ended up initially playing in a band together for briefly.
Yep.
I joined an existing concern.
You did, but you traveled immense distances to make it happen, which
is true.
A testament to your dedication.
I enjoyed it very much. So we've known each other for a very long time, most recently, and also for quite a while now, 10 years.
Yeah.
We have worked together in the location-based entertainment business. But I guess to start off, I think I'd like to hear just from your perspective, what is the uniqueness of your dad, your fatherhood situation, right now, and a little bit about, you generally.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So obviously the fact that I'm here hopefully implies that I am a dad. I'm the youngest of four, and none of my siblings ended up having kids. And I kind of, as life moved on, I kind of thought I wasn't going to have kids. Even prepared my mom that, hey, sorry, Mom, it's not in the cards.
You're not going to be in the grandma business.
You are not going to be a grandmother. And as luck would have it, life found a way to go my way. And I did end up, meeting someone and getting married, and we had a kid right before I turned 40. So I snuck a kid in right at 39.
So still a little bit older dad.
Yeah.
I
was definitely nervous about that for sure.
Right.
At that time. And now I do have an 8-year-old. I am divorced, so I'm a single dad who does get along very amicably. Good co-parenting situation. Yeah. It's cliche, but every day is an adventure. Having a child, leading right up to an 8-year-old, where I'm at now. So, it's interesting because it's as common now, kind of 50-50, right, to be in a single dad, single mom situation as a married couple or a committed couple with kids. But I do think that's obviously a different perspective. And you have both, right? So you have kind of when you were together in the early days with Jacob. Yeah.
And then now kind of the day to day and managing co-parenting that I think is going to make your perspective unique.
Yeah. And
one of the things that I do think when I think about our history together and you with Jacob, the memory that comes back to me first is a couple weeks before, it was just, we worked together, John and I. John was working in the same location, one of the locations that I manage. I was there officing, in that spot. So we saw each other a lot. And John had just completed a coaching conversation with an employee, and I didn't feel great about. And we were having one of those developmental conversations that we sometimes have. Yeah. And I said, I was just like, look, just do me a favor. Just never have a kid. Never have a kid, because if you do, you will destroy that child. Just don't do it. You can't communicate to this way. And like 2 weeks later, not even, I think it was really close. And John comes in and is like, I'm gonna be a father. And I'm like, immediately I thought back to that. I'm like, oh my God. And I have to say I'm very pleased to have been completely wrong. Jacob's a great kid, and he seems like he's healthy and doing really well and thriving. And it's great. The few opportunities I've had to interact with him, he's a good kid. So, but I think I'm like, why did I have to say?
It is funny. It's funny how it happens.
It was. So purely from a position of self-interest for me.
Yeah.
What do you think? What was the biggest challenge you faced in the early months of the first few months of fatherhood?
Yeah, sure. Well, one very interesting fact is prior to my own child, I had never held a baby before.
That's something.
So it was all new to me and
no exposure whatsoever.
None.
Wow.
So I had as little experience as you could possibly have.
Right. Starting with a clean slate. That's good.
And I would say the scary part is how, the way the hospital goes, there's two things that you have to have covered in order to go home with the baby. So you're in the hospital, you've got the baby, and you need two things. You need to watch 1970s video on not to shake your baby, and you need to have a car seat. And those are that's the bar. Those literally are the only prerequisites for them to allow you to go home.
Okay.
And you get home that night, and it's impossible not to feel like, how could they let this happen? How could they send us
Why
home?
did they trust us with this?
It's impossible not to feel that way. And those early nights, we had the bassinet. You get all the things that you think you need.
You had all the stuff.
Yeah. And we put the baby in the bassinet, and the baby did not want to be in the bassinet. And the bassinet was supposed to be this thing that we needed, and it just turned out to not be a thing that we needed. And that's so those early days, I think it was just learning all the things that you prepare for. Some of them are going to be great. He ended up sleeping in this it almost was shaped like kind of skinny, like a green bean, and it was on two kind of rocking legs, but it kind of ensconced him at the sides. And that ended up being
that was the thing he liked to sleep in. It was
far cheaper than the bassinet, but that was what he liked to sleep in.
Right.
So yeah.
Did your wife have experience with little kids?
No. What was very interesting is, while obviously a lovely person, never really had much interaction with kids. And one of the early things I noticed, we were cashing out in the grocery store, and we're in the line, and it stuck out to me like a lightning bolt, the way she was interacting with, there's somebody in front of you in line with a cart, and it's a mom with a young child, and the way she just became a completely different person. Really? And the way she was interacting with these little kids in
just
the cart.
All of a sudden engaging with children.
Prior to that, if they were there, it was just gray static, just completely unaware of these things. And I was the same way. I have a buddy who's got older teens, and I've known him for over 20 years as well. And I was friends when he had kids, and the kids were there, but they were just, again, static background.
They were just
didn't notice them.
Yeah.
And then everything does. It just changes.
That's got to be interesting. So those initial challenges were literally like you starting from ground up with.
Yeah.
I hadn't doing all.
Hadn't changed diapers. Stuff. Hadn't done, bottles. Hadn't.
Was there a clear who was better at it? Because you were both kind of equally inexperienced.
Yeah.
Was your wife more of a natural at it than you? Or?
She is amazing at all of it.
Okay.
And I will say, I'm so fortunate at how good she is at things. I was very good at getting him to sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were the one who could get him to fall asleep.
I am. So I can.
It's the dulcet tones of your voice.
It could be. I remember the early days. I would kind of go robotic in the sense of like, okay, I'm going to pick you up and I am going to walk in a track throughout the home, which is not as big as a track outside. And I'm just going to walk on this track, kind of rocking you and walking through this until you fall asleep. Whether it takes 5 minutes, 15 minutes, a half hour.
This is all that's going to happen.
The world got very small and you're kind of forced to see what's right in front of you. I think what's interesting is the things you will be able to accomplish that you in a million years didn't think. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to change diapers, or I'm not going to be able to do this. And you just somehow do.
You just figure it out.
But yeah, she was amazing, continues to be amazing at everything. But yeah, I think bedtime and going to sleep.
That was your thing. That was your superpower, was getting them to sleep. So was there anything that in those first few months that you thought, I wish I had done whatever that thing is before he was born? Like what was was there that, if only I had done X?
Oh, that's a good question. I had a lot of books that I don't think I read.
I'm already experiencing
I read through some of the stuff. Right. It isn't to say I didn't read anything, but there are so many books out there. And
there is literally, I'm constantly talking about it. I have this list of books stacked now, and Kelly is a voracious reader, so she's tearing through the stuff, and they just go into my pile. I've been almost exclusively like there were 4 dog books on how to introduce the dogs to the baby. 4 just on that. Yeah. And finally after 3 I just gave up. I'm like, I'm not reading the 4th one. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of reading. And yeah, so I can picture that. So you were looking for the bold passages and the pictures.
I mean, the high is everything is with hindsight. There was, and to be unhelpful, I'm not going to remember the app, but there was an app that I remember we had that I don't think it was called the Wonder Years, but it basically it mapped out their brain kind of by day and week and month. And it was
almost through the pregnancy, the development.
No. When they're very little. Yeah. And it essentially it lined up when your kid was going to be really basically it was like a weather app.
Okay.
And it would graphically use storm clouds and all these things. And I wish I was making this up. It lined up because you look at your partner and you're like, this is insane. What is happening right now? Why is everything so crazy? And then you would look and you're like, oh, we're in one of the storm cloud patches.
So it's over it would be a week that, this is a danger week.
Yeah.
And it was accurate. I got to find out what that is.
I will afterwards
we'll do some research
because I promise you
that sounds invaluable.
It was helpful because I guess, you can't really prepare or read about this, but being prepared for all the things that you're going to unexpectedly go through.
Gotcha. That's interesting. So, yeah.
That forecast app. I'll find out what the name is.
And do the reading, basically.
Because
okay.
Everyone has, you feel because you're in it, you feel like, oh my gosh, nobody's ever gone through this until you realize that basically most everyone has gone through this.
Yeah. There's the one book that I'm finally in now is the one that everybody's supposed to read, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
I think that was the one I did.
And already because I started it so much later because of all the dog books, I'm now reading about what has already happened in the pregnancy. And I'm like, I wish I knew.
Yeah.
It would have made things easier. So I definitely get that. So no experience baby wrangling before Jacob arrived on the scene.
Yeah.
So what is there a hack? Is there a trick? Is there something that you did learn once Jacob arrived that is the thing that
So, I would say, so the funny thing is one of the early nights where you're alone, you've got the baby and you're just like, I don't know what to do here. I remember I had him in his little swaddle and we were taking kind of turns to get sleep, and it's like the middle of the night and I'm walking and he just won't sleep. And I put him on top of the stove and I just remember looking at him like, why is this happening? Before picking him up and walking. But I took that moment. The
stove wasn't on.
The stove was not on. Okay. There's nothing controversial about this. But I do distinctly remember
that's an image of
putting him, on top of this stove and just under that sort of dome light that they have and just looking at this baby like,
what is happening?
Like, what is happening? Trying to get this. But the thing we learned, and that we're very fortunate, and every child is going to be completely different, but if we were good at anything due to our inexperience, the one thing we were good at was consistency. We were, probably to a fault, we were so consistent we tracked all of the feedings, all of the diaper changes, naps, same times every day, bedtime, same time every day. We just stayed very, very pattern-based consistent.
So at that point, is it pretty much just your choice? It's not like you have to convince the kid to go to bed at that point. It's just, that's bad.
Well, at the very beginning, you have to teach the baby what daytime and nighttime is.
Okay.
They don't know what that is. And to give a little backstory, my son was born. It was a very scary incident. So he's born, and the moment he's born, like 5+ people rush into the room and take him away.
Really?
Yeah.
Inexplicably, like you don't know what's going
on. It's already the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Sure.
And then they rush in, take him away. I'm looking at my wife. She's looking at me. We're both like, we don't know what's happening. And
nobody's telling. Like nobody's.
In the moment, I don't remember. I don't have a memory of it.
Right.
But
okay,
it wasn't long. We're told that the baby swallowed.
But it probably felt like an eternity.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying. Baby swallowed meconium. Which is
meconium. That is a
that
is a word that Carlo keeps mistaking for what killed Superman. He keeps saying kryptonite. So this happened during childbirth.
Or like during the birth or right before the birth. I'm not sure how close it was, but I think it was during the birth. And so they rush in because they have to clear that out. It's
right, and that can be very bad.
Yes, so he ends up spending 5 days in the NICU.
Oh, wow. All due to that.
Yes.
Wow.
And like, you're talking like the little incubator with the tape and all the stuff.
And you can't really interact.
No.
Wow.
And I've long maintained if I was ever to become a millionaire, I would give every penny to the NICU nurses at Krause Hospital, because when I tell you that place is unlike any, specifically the NICU ward and the people who work there. I've never been in such an almost heavenly place. The quiet, the tranquility, the peace, the kindness, because everyone there is not there for a good reason. And the nurses there are just,
the nurses
they are nothing short of miracle workers.
That's fantastic. So we are back from our first installment of the Dadabase. So that is our time spent with John Taylor, first part of that interview. And what did you think?
First of all, love John. John Taylor, not of Duran Duran.
Is that one of the
John Taylor's on Duran Duran.
Okay. That's right. Okay.
So when people thought, they're going to have John Taylor on.
Yeah.
They got Duran Duran talking about fatherhood.
Yeah, they're like, that's not John Taylor.
John Taylor.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny parts. There's some real stuff in there that I remember happening. Because I was working with you guys.
Yeah, we were kind of all together at that point. And and I did as soon as he said meconium, I'm like,
meconium.
Oh my God. We've been talking about that for 3 episodes.
We looked at each other and we just started laughing. And then I remembered the doctor saying that to us with our first, and you just forget. You forget it. Nothing happened. Luckily to our child, so it was like in and out. This could happen. It didn't happen, so we never thought about it again until our second one. It didn't happen either. So, but it was funny when I was watching him going, "Oh my God, that's right. I remember that they said if this happens, they're gonna have to take the baby away and all that good stuff." And I'm glad it obviously didn't hurt.
Talk about it. Like when he said
Scary.
that, immediately I kind of chuckled because of hearing meconium. But then when he talks about it, like it had to be absolutely terrifying. You go from this intense experience to the kid's gone. Like they swoop in, take the kid.
It happened to
and then
us.
5 days in the NICU.
Yeah.
And that had to be absolute. Like I have these nothings happening,
right? And
I'm getting terrified. So in a situation like that, that had to be absolutely.
That happened to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So remember when I told you our first was almost 3 weeks early?
Yes.
Remember? Okay.
Yep.
So when my wife had the baby, someone said to the doctor, "Oh, it's 3 something. It's preemie or something." Because it was a small. The tally was very small, and the doctor's like, "Oh my God!" Grabbed him, and they were talking amongst each other. So we don't know what's going on. We just see the doctor taking the baby, bringing him to like the other side of the room.
Right.
The baby's not crying yet.
Right.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah, the baby's not. So I'm like, "Oh my God, is it something's wrong?" Then I hear the crying. So okay, I got that. So like you said, it's 15 seconds. It lasts in your mind 3 days. It's a eternity, right?
Yep.
So obviously you hear the crying, so it's not that. Then like you're freaking out. Then I hear somebody going, "Oh, it's 2.5 weeks early." The doctor goes, "Oh, okay," and that told him, okay, his lungs are probably
but that's a big difference.
Right, it's a huge difference. So it went from real, like, "Oh my God, let's figure this out."
5-alarm
it's a
fire
preemie, blah, 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 to about, okay. So it's just a small baby.
Right.
Just 2.5 weeks.
Right.
So yes, very scary. So I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
With John, just 5 days away, no one's explaining anything.
Yeah. Yep.
Woo.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was great. So I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did too. We'll have more of that interview coming in the future. But
it was neat.
For now, we get to move on. This is only the second time we will have done this segment. We're going to move on to the diaper diet.
Diaper diet.
So,
all right.
If you recall,
let's get real.
Last time we talked about this, I was there. So the whole idea again is I'm trying to lose weight as Kelly is gaining weight with the baby and trying to stay ahead of it. So last time I was behind in the race by 1.2 pounds.
Okay.
So she had gained like 12.4 at that point, and I had lost 11.2. So I was down by 1.2. Gotcha. So it's been 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
But there I want to qualify that there was a Thanksgiving in there. Now, the good part was there was a Thanksgiving at my brother's house, so there wasn't that much of a challenge.
Okay.
But because when it's at home, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I avoided a lot of leftover, that kind of stuff. So what do you think? Where do you think? I was optimistic that I was going to be able to start catching up maybe. But as we've talked about, her appetite
has increased.
Yes, it has.
So, and the last time we talked about, she gained 12 point what?
She had gained, I was behind by 1.2. She had gained at that point 12.4 pounds.
Okay.
And I had lost 11.2.
Now this is women. They it's different than us, right? I mean, we go on a diet, we lose like 30 pounds in a week.
Yeah.
And they're like, I lost 2 pounds in 6 months.
It's a lot harder for them, but she's putting it, she's going the other direction.
Gaining could be a lot easier. Again, I have not seen her, so do not take this like offensive. Like,
you think this is tough because you haven't seen her.
Not seen her. I'm going to say from what you're telling me, the eating and stuff, I'm going to say she probably gained 3 pounds.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
more?
The gain. Yeah. So now
you might be in trouble by saying.
I'm now behind by 9 pounds.
Ooh.
And I still lost another 3.
Wow. And you're still down 9.
She is now up 23.2 pounds.
Okay.
And I am 9 pounds behind. So I've lost a little over 14. So
both of you?
It's good. I'm
for her,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I think she's doing doing very well. It's not like she isn't blowing up. She's got a nice little baby bump. It's been good. Now the last week, and we'll talk about some of the challenges when we get into the next. Her eating has changed a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's where we are right now.
She's plus 20.
23.2.
23. And I said 3 pounds. So I was off by a lot.
Yeah. Well, over the course of a month, in this stage of the pregnancy, this is when you start to put on the weight.
Well, that's awesome.
So yeah, so she's doing well, but I got a tough road to hoe.
I do have to say I did see her last week, right? After the show?
Yeah, you did.
And she looked good. So I guess I didn't. Yeah. So
it's all baby.
Kelly, it's all baby.
It's all baby.
Yeah.
So
congratulate to you too.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm telling you, and we talked about this before. I did not do any losing weight when my wife was pregnant both times. There was no losing weight. It
has been a little by little. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch up, but we'll see.
Yeah,
but I'm down 9. So if you have any weight loss tips for aging fathers, let me know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So that is the diaper diet, and now we will move on to what just happened. So in the last week, lots of little things. Again, pregnancy-wise, not a lot going on right now.
No, kind of slow.
Yeah. Now, next week, we're going to have some more doctor's appointment stuff that'll be fun.
That would be week 27?
Sure. Something something like that. 27. So one interesting thing that has happened in the last week, there's always, as you know, every time you come here, there's a stack of packages from Amazon.
I just took a photo. I laughed. I took a photo.
There's a lot.
I'll share that. I'll send it to you.
Part of this is a function of just the baby and stuff. The other part is we do a lot of our Christmas shopping online.
Sure.
And things are just showing up. And so I can't, if it says Kelly on the package, I know could be mine.
Gotcha.
Could be someone else's.
You don't want to open it.
But I can't take any chances. So I just leave a stack and I'm like, okay. And then they go into the guest room.
Sure.
Right? Like, so the guest room is literally like,
I can
you'll have
imagine.
to look. It's full. But big box shows up.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the heck is this? And I ask, and Kelly says, oh, that might be the chair. And I'm like, chair? So I open it up, and Kelly's sister is clearly going to be a very enthusiastic aunt. And she's like, you got to look at it. This is a Snoopy chair. It is custom.
Of course.
Has the baby's name on the chair. It's like white and red, like Snoopy's doghouse.
Sure.
And it's like a child size, but like for a 3-year-old to sit in, like a bark lounger. Like it's adorable.
You gotta store this for the next 3 years.
I'm like, where do we put it? And
Thanks.
And Kelly immediately, she's like, I told her she's cut off. Like she can't. She has to stop. But it's adorable.
Well, at least have gifts that are age appropriate.
Already, still not even born yet, and already has custom furniture.
This
is fantastic.
Well, you'll probably find a little place in the room, right? You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or
3 years later, you can use it.
In her dorm. Like, I don't know. It's cute. It's going to be adorable. So there is that.
That's funny. Yeah. You're gonna see, but they've already, they have, she has brothers that have children, or at least one,
She has a brother who has 2.
So this is the first time. The sister's probably very close, and this is the first, she doesn't have kids herself. No. So this is different.
Well, probably,
right?
Maybe. It's a sister.
Sister thing.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for her because she's going to have gifts all over your house.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
But it was super cute. Yeah, super cute. So we had that. The thing I thought, I will talk with Kelly before we record these. So what do we talk about from this week? Like, what do you think are the notable events? And she's like, well, she's been moving and grooving. And I'm like, moving and grooving. So we've been moving and grooving. There's a lot of activity in there, and on a kind of a regular schedule. So that has been good.
I was gonna say, does Kelly notice certain things that are like on TV or music that the baby moves more, or is there something that's triggering it more than other things?
I don't know if she has noticed anything like that.
Yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
But she's noticing that there's kind of typical behavior
Just
at certain times a
the
day.
The baby's doing stuff, yeah.
Yeah, she does Pilates for a little while. But so there's that stuff. The bad thing is this week, unrelated to I guess tangentially related to the pregnancy, but she's had a really bad cold this week.
Oh, yeah.
And she can't take anything.
Right.
So she had a sore throat. She's got a cough. She can't take any cough medicine. She can't do any of that. So she's been having a hard time. And this is a very strange thing. And I feel bad even bringing it up, but I'm going to because it's funny. Or at least it's a little funny.
Because we have a podcast and we talk about everything.
The first time this ever happened, we were in London. We had gone on a trip to London.
Okay.
It was around this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to all these London. There's all these Christmas markets. And beautiful. It's a great city. And so we're out in the cold and spending time. And she came down with a little bit of a cold. Okay. So we were staying in this place in Knightsbridge. It's a really nice part of London. And we're there, and she needed some cold medicine. So we there's a drugstore on the corner. We go down there, and you don't think about this, but you're in another country. Right. There's no like NyQuil. Sure. It's all these weird brands.
Right. There's stuff. Right.
So there's this thing called Night Nurse. Right.
Okay.
And we're asking the girl at the counter, and they're like, yeah, that's the closest thing to Night Nurse. So she takes it. We go to sleep, and I keep waking up to her making these noises. These like literally, and it's not like a cold noise, like a snore.
Right.
It's like a like
whining, like
nonverbal complaining.
Ooh,
basically
like in pain.
Like like these whiny sounds.
Wow. Okay.
But it's like it's disconcerting. I'm like,
sure.
Are you okay? And she's like, she has no idea. She's asleep.
Yeah, she's out.
But she's making these noises. Huh. And I attributed that to the night nurse. So we're like, well, we've never taken that again.
No.
So never hasn't. Now this was a few years ago. We were in London like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Has not happened since. But it was not the night nurse, apparently.
Oh.
The last couple nights.
The nurse is back?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. She will just, like, as soon as she falls asleep, just make these little squeaky noises.
So, when I first got married, Trina would talk in her sleep. I did not know this.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I would freak out because there was conversations in bed.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, are we doing talk time now?
Right.
I thought we were napping and I'd turn around and she would be asleep, like you said.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, she's a talker.
Yeah.
She's one of those.
Yep.
And she did it for a while.
Did they make sense?
No.
Okay.
No. It was clear.
Yep.
I mean, I knew you could hear words.
You could hear what she was saying.
Yeah. But you had no idea what it was.
It was completely.
And for some reason, I don't know. I could be in my head screwing this up, but I don't know if the pregnancy changed it. But she no longer
do it anymore. Just, you know why? Because she's happy. Now she's happy.
Before she was like, who am I in bed with?
She was confused. But
and another thing about pregnancy, my wife, all her life, we got married up to the point where she got pregnant. Her hair was, you couldn't even curl it. It was just straight hair. I know you probably straight. That's it. She would curl it, like if we were going out to a dance or a wedding or whatever it was. She would curl it within like an hour. It's
straight
it's straight hair.
Right.
And she gets pregnant, and she has curly hair from that moment on. 23 years now.
Really?
Plus, she's never. Her hair never straightened out again. It turned curly.
That's
interesting.
Her
whole thing changed. It was crazy. When I first met her, till like I said, till when she got pregnant. Straight hair. Hair.
That's interesting.
Things like
things change.
So I don't know. What do you think that you think is she trying to talk?
No, like she is. So like in the beginning, when we were first together, she would do the talking thing, but it was like in the morning, like right when you're getting to wake up. And I discovered, because she would say things that made absolute, again, clear as a bell.
Right.
But it made no sense.
Right.
And it was like when you're in that twilight of waking up. So that was that. But this thing has only happened when we were in London, and now this time.
And both times sick.
Yes, sick with a cold. Like a sore throat.
And this time there's no medicine at all in her.
No, she can't have anything. So it's not that.
No nurse.
It's no night nurse.
Huh.
So yeah, so it's gotten better, but to the point where I crammed in earplugs.
Really?
It was and I sleep pretty soundly, and I had to put them in, or it was I wasn't getting any sleep.
Says the man who rattles the world when he used to sleep.
So in my defense, what
inside baseball.
What Carlo is referring to is we had gone to see to a Formula One race in Montreal. We shared a room with with another friend, and I remember I snore a lot. I always did.
Yep.
Snored. I thought it was just like I snore. So what?
And you told us you go.
I snore. I warned them. Yep. That would happen.
Like,
that was the way when I would have to travel in the type of work that I did with retail. You'd have to go to meetings.
Yeah.
And that was the way I always got a single instead of having to bunk with somebody. Because I'd be like, I snore. They if you put somebody with me, they're not gonna get any sleep because I snore like a tractor.
Yep.
And that would always give me up. So I warned them. But I remember the next morning we woke up and you said something to the effect of, "You don't snore, you die a little."
I sure did, because for some reason I thought I was going to sleep that night, and I went to bed and I got woken up by this sound, and I literally could not close my eyes, and I just stared at him going, he's going to die tonight.
It was. So
I don't know if he knows that or not.
Not long after that, my doctor suggested that I get a sleep study done.
Yes.
Because she's like, "Do you snore? Yeah. Do you ever wake up? Yeah." So
did your friend ever think you were going to die? Yeah.
So I do the sleep test, and they tell you that, like, I think the number is maybe 10 or 15 an hour. Okay. 10 an hour. I was having like 65. Like every minute my airway was closing. She's like, "Oh yeah, you need a CPAP." So I have a CPAP that I've been using, but it's nice and quiet.
Oh no. Yeah, you're good.
That is something that never has been inflicted upon Kelly. I've had a CPAP since before we met. That
story comes back in my mind every time I hear like somebody snoring or something.
Yep.
It immediately goes back to that hotel room, and you just and the other guy, our other friend, sleeping like a baby.
Yeah, it didn't bother him.
Didn't even.
Nope. Because the rest of the world doesn't know.
No, me, I'm like staring at him, going, "I'll be here if anything happens to you, my friend. I will be ready to pounce on your chest."
Yeah.
Crack it was some ribs.
It was bad. It was, but no, I'm like, that's the thing. That's the good part now is with a CPAP, you have different kinds. I have one that's a full mask, so it covers my nose and my mouth. I have headgear. It's fantastic. But I put it on there and it's nice and quiet. But the thing is, it's pumping air. It's kind of like inflating your airway so it doesn't collapse. So because I want to get away from the sound, I've got earplugs in. I put on my CPAP, and then I can pull the covers up over my head because it's like a snorkel. It's like it's feeding you air. So I'm literally like giving myself a Dutch oven.
Oh my God.
So I can get
away. You guys must look
so I can get away from the sound.
Oh my God! You got headphones. You got a mask on your face. You got your Dutch oven.
We're a wreck.
Oh,
we're gonna have a child.
Oh God, this is so good. Oh, I'm not laughing. I'm just laughing.
Yeah, you don't even see me. There's just a big bump
and
a hose for the CPAP. That's it. So
there's a vacuum in my.
That's it. Oh, you just hear the little whoosh, the whoosh of the CPAP.
I love Kelly.
She's fantastic.
She just looks at you and go, "So you need to impregnate me."
I'm hoping that she's gonna feel better with the cold stuff. But
very interesting about that. Yeah.
So there's that. So and I'm really hoping the talking goes away. It is very disconcerting. It is just
Carlo was not that right. He was still a little wrong. Shut up. Go to bed.
That's it. So there was that. Then the one thing we did in between her not feeling well, we have, and I wanted to ask about kind of Christmas traditions. Yeah. One Christmas tradition that we have since we moved here. So we moved into the house that we live in now, where the studio is here. We've been here for 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be our 5th Christmas. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long. But somewhere or another, I got the idea back in the first Christmas, that we would go by, because we have kind of a big yard, and we went and bought a little Christmas, like a bald Christmas tree from Hafer. So we went to a local place, picked out a little Christmas tree, and I set it up kind of in our backyard where we can see it from off the deck, and put little Christmas lights on it. And then in the spring, I plant it. And I've been planting them along the driveway.
Christmas trees.
So now we have 4 Christmas trees, because every year we do that. So we went and got our Christmas tree. And we were thinking, like, this will be something that we're going to get to do with the baby. Every year we'll go, and it'll be a fun thing. So now it's just the 2 of us. We go and we pick out the tree, so we'll have that tradition for Christmas. For every Christmas, we'll do that.
That's cute.
I like that.
And then it's like a recycle. Then you plant it. So now it becomes, it's nice.
So now we're just in the point. The first one I planted way out toward the road is now getting to be big enough that I can't put lights. It took like 4 net lights to light it. So but that's why I put Christmas lights on them.
Do you guys use real trees in the house, or do you have
No, in the house we have 2 fake ones.
I was gonna say, you can chop these down and use them now in your house.
You could do there's a service. I was telling my brother about this. The new thing for Christmas trees, instead of, if you want a real tree, what they do is it's a subscription service.
Of course.
So they bring you a tree. You pick a tree, a bald tree, root ball. They bring it. You decorate it. It's your tree. Then after Christmas, you call them up. They come and get the tree.
They store it.
They bring it back. They plant it again. It grows. Next year, you get the same tree back. It's a little bigger.
Oh, my God.
And you do that year after year after year. That's your Christmas tree. And then when it's too big for your house, they bring it and you plant it. I think that's
great.
That's a cute idea.
That's a very cute idea.
I have no idea what that costs, and I will never do it.
Probably a lot.
But
you're kind of doing it.
Well, I'm doing it, but we get it and we plant it in the spring, right away. But yeah, so there's all kinds of fun.
And it's so funny, that tradition that you started is gonna, as awesome as it is, and you look forward to it, when you put the child now.
It's gonna be so much more fun.
Yeah, it changes that whole thing.
Yep. Because then it's gonna be like, that's her first tree.
That's awesome. Yeah. My first tree. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. That will be fun. So I'm particularly interested in are there things that you did with the boys when they were little, like that like what were the Christmas things that you did with them when they were little?
The one thing, Trina always makes sure that you keep these traditions going, because if it was me, I'd probably give up a little bit. And I know that about me. And that's why you have a partner that can pick up what you
in our relationship, I'm Trina.
You're Trina.
I'm the one who was like, this is something we're going to do.
So Christmas, the cinnamon rolls, there's the orange cinnamon rolls, orange flavor,
orange flavors. Okay.
So every year, I don't know how it started. Maybe when she was young, they did it. I'm not sure. She'll remind me. In the morning, she'll bake these. So we wake up to the smell of this cinnamon, orangey kind of smell. So we all know. Now, we get our presents Christmas Eve with our family, but then we keep ours for the kids at the house. And we open up our presents. We have our hot cocoa, our coffee, the pastries that she just made, and we'll open up the gifts. And then they'll play around a little bit. Then we'll all get ready and we go to church.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a neat
that was a neat thing. And then as we got older, now our traditions not now, but in the last probably decade or so, is shots. We all go to midnight.
All shots.
We all do shots. We go to midnight mass.
Oh,
so that is our tradition.
That's neat. So now that's one of the things that Kelly talks about is she's from Buffalo. And she was go Bills. And she was saying that when growing up, they would always go to midnight mass at the Basilica. There's a beautiful basilica in Buffalo. I've never been. Have you been there?
No, but we have one in Syracuse.
Yeah. They would have like a full choir and all the music. And she's like, we should do that. So you must go to midnight mass at Pompeii. I have been to midnight mass there. Gorgeous. Not in a long time. It is. Oh my God. It's a beautiful church, and they do all the poinsettias. It's like, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So that's our tradition, and
that's neat.
And it's so funny. You think these things, you might think these things don't matter, but then you stop and the kids go, "Wait a minute.
What do you mean?
Why are we going to midnight mass? Wait a minute. Where's the the hot cocoa or the orange scented going through the house?" So it does. You got to keep doing it. It means so much for the kids, and yourselves, because you're going to look back and go, "Oh my God, we used to do this, that, and the other, and I miss it." And but the midnight mass is probably a great way to start your Christmas.
I think that it's going to be fun to come up with new traditions. The tree is something.
Right. Then you guys are going to come up with new ones.
Yeah, that's right. So far, our traditions as a couple, we do the one that my favorite is Kelly makes. She uses the cinnamon brioche bread and makes French toast on Christmas morning. See, again, food traditions.
But yeah, traditions you got to keep them going. Yeah. And you'll have my baby's first, or the baby's first tree.
All that
stuff. We have them out. And every year when we put the tree up, we have the kids put up their stuff, and we go through the pictures that they made in first grade, and we can put on the tree, and you see all these years.
Yep.
And it's crazy because, now my son is 6'1" and whatever, and he goes, "The tree looks small." I go, "No, you're just bigger."
It's
same tree.
Because you're a giant now.
You're a giant now.
That's funny.
I used to have to get up on a chair to put the star up.
No, it's funny because we just trimmed the tree the other day, and I have this little. It was probably some ornament that my mother got at Kmart, right?
Yeah.
It's just a little felt, little plastic elf, little guy. Then when I was a kid, there was tons of them. There was a whole set of them. Then one survived, and I have that.
That's awesome.
And that always ends up going on right at the top of the tree. Right at the top of the tree.
Exactly. No, we have a lot of those.
I've always, over the years, I've had it for years and years. Mm-hmm. I always put it on. And then I think Kelly is the only person I've ever let put that on the tree.
Ooh.
And so she has.
You're usually the one touching it.
That was mine. And so she has done it. And then we were trimming the tree the other day. She's like, "This will be the last time either of us do this, because now it'll be up to her." Yeah. And I thought, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, it's amazing to me how a little piece of plastic can have so much meaning.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at our tree, and there's like these pictures and these things that they made in kindergarten, first grade.
Like, what's that?
Yeah, it doesn't even look like anything to anyone, but to us, it's like gold.
That's it.
It's like, oh my God, that has to be right there in the center where everybody can see it.
Yep.
But that's funny. I mean, come on, that's what we have in this life, man.
Yep.
I mean, you got to make memories and
memories like that. That's true.
Yeah.
So, that kind of covers everything we had to talk about. Yeah. The last thing to talk about is Lullaby Land.
Yes.
So this will be our third installment. This is going to be a little bit different because, after all, it's Christmas time. Sure. So I wanted to share something a little different. So several years ago, I had an idea for a song, and we've talked about, I think it was in the very first episode, we talked about fathers who have a little bit of a challenge saying "I love you" to their children, right? We have very common experience with that. So I was thinking about the idea of a dad who, even though he feels, very deeply for his children, has a hard time saying "I love you." And I had the idea that this dad in the song gets the idea that he's going to pretend he found a note from Santa Claus, and he wants to read it to his kids in order to use that as a device to be able to tell his children how he feels. So it's not a lullaby, but it's Christmas. The song is called "Santa Loves You," and it's going to play right next. I hope you enjoy it. More importantly, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas with your family. Thank you very much for listening to us again. And we will talk to you on New Year's Eve.
Oh, my goodness. Get the champagne out.
Christmas morn has come again. Yes, Santa came last night. Open presents round the tree, trimmed in red and white. I know you want to run along to find your friends and play, and see what Santa brought them to, but maybe you could stay. I found this note from Santa Claus. He must have left last night. If you'll stay, I'll read it to you. Would that be alright? So climb up on my knee and lay your little head right there, for soon enough you'll see we'll have so little time to share. Now let's see what Santa had to say. He said he's been so busy he hardly can believe how much you've changed and how you've grown since your last Christmas Eve. He wishes he could see you more and had the time to play, but making all the toys this year has left more work than day. So each day when his work is through and you're asleep at night, he peeks into your little room to see that you're alright. He's so proud to see how bright and kind and strong you are. So do your best to dream and trust those dreams will take you far. But most of all, remember these few things. Be brave. Good, and know that if he only could, he'd bring you every last thing on your list. And if there's even one thing that he missed, try again next year. But until then, Santa loves you. Santa loves you. And he'll be back when Christmas comes again. Well, folks, that's another episode of the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast in the books. Thanks very much for tuning in and spending this time with us. We hope it was fun. If you enjoyed this week's descent into the madness of dadness, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our future adventures. And while you're at it, give us a like and share the cast with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Carrier Pigeon, whatever you crazy kids are using. Have any hilarious parenting stories of your own? Questions about navigating fatherhood later in life, or even when normal people do it? Email us at ghdc.podcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.